Why the Turkish entertainment industry chooses history over geopolitics. When people look at Turkish television series and films, one pattern becomes very clear. History is everywhere. Ottoman-era dramas, historical heroes, period costumes, palace politics, ancient battles, and legendary figures appear again and again. But at the same time, something else is noticeably rare. Direct, modern geopolitics. You don't often see Turkish mainstream series or big films openly dealing with current international conflicts, modern geopolitical rivalries, contemporary foreign policy struggles, sensitive present-day political tensions. So the question is, why does the Turkish entertainment industry so often choose history over geopolitics? Is it because history is safer? Is it because audiences prefer it? Is it because of industry structure, cultural tradition, or market strategy? The answer is not just one thing. It is a combination of culture, economics, audience psychology, and risk management. Let's break it down step by step. Point 1. History is a safer storytelling space. The first and most practical reason is simple. History is safer than geopolitics. Modern geopolitics is emotionally charged, politically sensitive, divisive, constantly changing, and often interpreted very differently by different groups. If a TV series or film takes a clear position on current conflicts, international disputes, modern political alliances, it immediately risks public backlash, political pressure, social media outrage, boycotts or controversy. History, on the other hand, creates emotional distance, allows symbolic storytelling, reduces immediate political tension, gives creators more narrative freedom. By setting stories in the past, creators can talk about power, loyalty, betrayal, war, identity, morality, without directly attacking today's sensitive realities. Point 2. History unites, geopolitics divides. Another key reason is audience unity. Historical stories can be enjoyed by people with different political views, often focus on shared cultural memory, create a sense of collective identity, feel more like heritage than argument. Geopolitical stories, especially modern ones, immediately create sides, trigger ideological debates, turn entertainment into political discussion, risk losing half the audience before the first episode ends. From a business perspective, this is crucial. The Turkish entertainment industry depends heavily on mass audiences, family viewing, broad national and international appeal. History helps maximize audience reach. Geopolitics tends to shrink it. Point 3. Export market reality. Turkish series are not made only for Turkey anymore. They are watched in the Middle East, Latin America, Eastern Europe, South Asia, and many other regions. When you produce a historical drama, the story feels distant and universal. Viewers focus on characters and emotions. Political context feels less threatening. Cultural curiosity increases. But when you produce a modern geopolitical story, some countries may feel targeted. Some audiences may feel uncomfortable. Some broadcasters may refuse to buy it. Some markets may censor or avoid it. So, from an export perspective, history sells better. Geopolitics risks being blocked. Point 4. History allows symbolism instead of direct statements. Another important storytelling advantage is symbolism. Through historical settings, writers and directors can talk about power without naming modern leaders, talk about empire without mentioning current states, talk about conflict without pointing to today's borders, talk about justice without attacking present institutions. This creates allegory instead of confrontation. In other words, history becomes a mirror, not a weapon. This makes stories more poetic, more flexible, more open to interpretation, and much safer in public discussion. Point 5. Cultural tradition and storytelling roots. Turkey has a very strong tradition of historical storytelling. Epic poems, legends, Ottoman-era chronicles, folk heroes, historical novels. These stories already exist in the cultural memory. So when the entertainment industry chooses history, it is not escaping reality. It is continuing a long narrative tradition. Audiences are already emotionally connected to sultans, warriors, court intrigues, founding myths, turning points of history. This makes historical content easier to promote, easier to market, easier to emotionally sell. Point 6. Production design and visual attraction. There is also a very practical, visual reason. Historical dramas offer costumes, palaces, battles, old cities, traditional music, grand sets. These elements look expensive, feel cinematic, create spectacle, travel well across cultures. Modern geopolitics, in contrast, often means offices, meeting rooms, press conferences, news like visuals, conversations instead of spectacle. From a visual storytelling perspective, history is more cinematic. Point 7. Avoiding legal and institutional risks. Modern political content can bring legal problems, broadcasting restrictions, regulatory issues, pressure from different sides, content disputes. Historical stories usually face fewer direct legal challenges, are easier to defend as artistic interpretation, create less institutional risk for producers and broadcasters. For a big industry with high budgets, risk management matters. History is simply a lower risk investment than modern geopolitics. Point 8. Audience psychology and escapism. Entertainment is not only about information, it is also about escape. Many viewers watch series and films to relax, forget daily stress, leave modern problems behind, enter another world. Historical dramas provide distance from today's news, a feeling of timelessness, emotional immersion without daily anxiety, a break from constant political noise. Geopolitical stories, especially modern ones, often remind viewers of stress, continue the same debates they see in the news, feel heavy instead of entertaining. So from a psychological point of view, history offers escape, geopolitics offers confrontation. Point 9. Not avoidance, but strategic choice. It is important to clarify something. The Turkish entertainment industry is not incapable of dealing with modern political themes. And it is not afraid of serious subjects. It simply chooses indirect storytelling over direct confrontation, symbolism over slogans, long-term appeal over short-term controversy. This is a strategic and creative choice, not just a political one. Point 10. What this says about the industry. All of this tells us something important. The Turkish entertainment industry thinks in terms of broad audiences, values cultural continuity, manages risk carefully, aims for export success, prefers symbolic storytelling, and understands the emotional needs of viewers. Choosing history over geopolitics is not about ignoring reality. It is about choosing the most sustainable way to tell stories in a complex world. Summary. Let's summarize this clearly. History is safer and less divisive than modern geopolitics. Historical stories unite broader audiences, while geopolitics divides them. Turkish series are made for international markets, and history travels better. History allows symbolic storytelling instead of direct political confrontation. There is a strong cultural tradition of historical narratives in Turkey. Historical dramas are more cinematic and visually attractive. Modern political stories carry higher legal, institutional, and commercial risks. Audiences often seek escape, not more political stress. This is a strategic, cultural, and artistic choice, not just avoidance. In short, the Turkish entertainment industry chooses history over geopolitics. Because history allows big stories without big battles in today's world. It keeps storytelling powerful, emotional, exportable, and sustainable.